Hey family, I have a quick teaching on the parable of the talents. So if you have some time to spare, please join me for the lesson. Before we move into the lesson, I would like to share a vision that I was given by the Lord. He showed me someone speaking in tongues. So it was evident that they received Holy Spirit and that they could speak in tongues. It was a talent, a gift that the Lord had bestowed upon them through his Holy Spirit. So I want to go over this parable to help us all understand the idea of receiving talents and what we're to do with them. Here we're going to read Matthew 25, verses 14 through 30, where we encounter Jesus, and Jesus is giving this parable about a householder who has servants, and he gives these servants each specific amounts of talents, and he expects them to do things with these talents. Let's take a look. For the kingdom of heaven is as a man traveling into a far country, who called his own servants and delivered unto them his goods. And unto one he gave 5 talents, to another 2, and to another 1, to every man according to his several ability, and straightway took his journey. Then he that had received the 5 talents went and traded with the same, and made them other 5 talents. And likewise he that received 2, he also gained other 2. But he that had received 1 went and digged in the earth, and hid his Lord's money. After a long time, the Lord of those servants cometh, and reckoneth with them. And so he that had received 5 talents came and brought other 5 talents, saying, Lord, thou deliveredst unto me 5 talents. Behold, I have gained beside them 5 talents more. His Lord said unto him, Well done, thou good and faithful servant. Thou hast been faithful over a few things. I will make thee ruler over many things. Enter thou into the joy of thy Lord. He also that had received 2 talents came and said, Lord, thou deliverest unto me 2 talents. Behold, I have gained 2 other talents beside them. His Lord said unto him, Well done, good and faithful servant. Thou hast been faithful over a few things. I will make thee ruler over many things. Enter thou into the joy of the Lord. Then he which had received the 1 talent came and said, Lord, I knew thee that thou art an hard man, reaping where thou hast not sown, and gathering where thou hast not strawed. And I was afraid, and went and hid thy talent in the earth. Lo, there thou hast that is thine. His Lord answered and said unto him, Thou wicked and slothful servant, thou knewest that I reap where I sowed not, and gather where I have not strawed. Thou oughtest therefore to have put my money to the exchangers, and then at my coming I should have received mine own with usury. Take therefore the talent from him, and give it unto him which hath 10 talents. For unto every one that hath shall be given, and he shall have abundance. But from him that hath not shall be taken away even that which he hath. And cast ye the unprofitable servant into outer darkness. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. So when we read this parable, Jesus is trying to give us an illustration about how we are rooted in him. God is the husbandman, the householder. God takes care of the vine. Jesus is the vine, and we are branches extending from him. God takes good care of the vine so that it births fruit. The fruit will hang from the branches. God is bestowing good nutrition into the soil to birth good fruit from the tree. The vine is healthy, meaning there should be good fruit coming from the branches that are receiving from the vine. If the fruit coming off the vine isn't good, then there's a problem. Jesus has said that the branches can be thrown into the fire. So we don't want to be unprofitable when we receive a gift from the Most High. If we're speaking in tongues, He expects us to use it. There may be even a point where someone who can interpret tongues is going to come along and you're going to both be a part of a ministry. And the one that speaks the tongue is going to speak and then the other will interpret. In some cases, and this is a high spiritual thing, I have encountered where people will try to test the spirit. Let's say you're giving a word and they're not sure if they can trust you. People can go into the spirit realm and attempt to test you. And if you have the gift of tongues, the Holy Spirit will speak through you at them. And that is not something you can fake. Thereby, the person who heard the speech in the Holy Spirit in their spirit will receive the message that you are truly called. There are many ways that tongues are used, and tongues are very powerful. But no matter what the way, God expects you to use the gift to further the ministry as best as you can. Because remember, these servants were given talents according to their ability. With that being said, the one servant had 5 talents and they multiplied the 5 talents. The one had 2, they multiplied it 2 more. The one had 1 and buried it in the ground, hid it, didn't do anything with the talent. Now, I want to do a spin on this because many people will say the same message. I want to take this from another perspective and say, in giving these talents, these individuals were able to become independent of the householder. So if you have 5 talents that the householder gave you and the householder comes back and takes his 5 talents back, well, if he leaves you with the 5 you gained, then you're self-sufficient at this point. You're independent. The same way with the 2 talents. If you give him back 2 talents, you still have 2. You're self-sufficient and independent. But if he gives you 1 talent and you get that 1 talent back, then you remain in a needy place. You remain in a place where you're always relying on the householder and you're never able to grow and do and be useful out on your own. When Jesus called the apostles, he called them to be sent out. That's why they're called apostles, is what that means. He gave them the information, the truth, the talent, the covering, and then he sent them out in twos. Well, if they couldn't do anything with these talents, they would not be able to be sent out. Jesus doesn't want us to just hang up under him all the time, even though he loves us dearly, but he expects us to go out and preach. He expects us to go out and baptize. He expects us to go out in the name of the Father, in his name, in the name of the Holy Spirit. He wants us to teach people the gospel. He wants us to tell people they'll get salvation. And yes, he will be with us wherever we go in spirit, but he still expects us to get up and do the thing. If he gives you all these talents and you just sit at home and don't do anything at all with them and just hide away and act like you don't even have the talent, then what good are you to the people who need the service? There are people that are ill and they need a doctor, they need a cure. They are spiritually ill and Jesus is giving you the cure and you're not helping anybody. Now, this is not the same as a person who can't help people. Okay, we're talking about people who had the ability. As far as this parable goes, these individuals had the ability as far as they were given the talent. So their capacity was met. It wasn't undermet, it was met, and it wasn't overmet, it was met. The issue is the mind state. So this last individual had a bad mind. They wanted to be lazy. They didn't want to further the kingdom. They didn't want to do more. They just wanted things to stay as they were. And they had made up excuses, told a lie about their true intent. The householder knew because the householder used his discernment in order to understand what this servant actually was doing. So just know that God is watching us all and he watches the heart. He reads the heart. He sees what our true intentions are. He knows what we're doing. If you're going to do the thing and you're going to do it well, he will bless you more and more to do more. But if you're not going to do it and pretend like you want to do it, you're not going to fake him. He knows the authenticity of a person. So if it's you, whoever you are, that received the gift of tongues, congratulations. And I hope and pray that you use this gift to your maximum capacity and that God uses you mightily. And so, with that, I am Judge Seraphim, and I am out.